Okay, so now for my next step. You kind of know what the next step is. If you've been watching the entire video, you'll know I'm going to be installing this. I've got to adjust this. I've got this, when it comes in the box, it's going to be like that. Push up on it. And see, there's a little stop right there. Okay, you can still adjust it by just having it off the bottom. Okay. So I am going to you could set this down in there, make sure my bottom is pushed up tight. I could look at the old valve tree and see about how far it was adjusted, let's say. But remember, that one was up a little bit high anyway. So, and I'm just gonna check this out on my own. Okay, so I've got that. I've got it pushed down. I look at this. I want to make that about flush, the top of the head flush with that. Sometimes your tank lid, depending what style your tank lid is, if you have this adjusted too high, maybe your tank lid doesn't want to set down all the way after you get all adjusted and get that all done. You're like, oh brother. Well, I guess it's just gonna have to live with that way. No. Now you're gonna have to get it apart. Now, if I didn't adjust it and I didn't know that was adjustable, or I did adjust it and I do it and it's way too low, I don't want to do that, because then this float will only allow me to raise the float up high enough to stop this, and maybe the water, with this all adjusted to the furthest it can go, maybe the water is still down beyond a ½ inch, right? If it's like that, that means this is adjusted too low. You can look at the directions and see where they suggest to make that, but I've always had good luck with it adjusted to where it's almost flush with the top, and it's still a little low, because I want this to adjust nice and easy. So I'm going to make it one click. I felt it click right there. I'm not sure if I want to make it one click or two. I'm going to look at that. It's still just a hair low. And so I'm going to carefully click it. Just one time. I'm not sure if that was it or not. I'm just going to check it, and it's not. Okay. See, it's easy to do it too much. Okay, there, I've got it one click. And I wish you could just take it and unscrew it or screw it in, but apparently it doesn't work that way. Okay, that's too high. Now, okay. You know, that seems to, if I'm holding it like that and now I'm screwing it, you can get it just between one of those. Okay, I think I lowered it just a hair, which I did. And I think I want to have it right there, and now I'm going to hold that. I'm going to take this plastic thing and snap it on there. Okay, like that. Make sure that's all on there, okay? Now I'm going to check it again. Hey, I'm not in a race, okay? That's not what these videos are about. How quick can I show you how to do this? Okay? Now this is, if I put a level or a straight edge across there, this is almost the same height. The other one was slightly up higher, and now it's all about seeing what angle. And I can make this at a 45-degree angle, a 40-degree angle, or any sort of angle that I know it's not hitting the back like way over like that, or that I don't have it tilted too far to where it's going to encroach on my handle of my toilet flush. And I'm going to hold it right about like that. Okay, and I can slightly adjust that when I get the nut on. Okay, so here's my new plastic nut, and I still got my water dripping into the bucket, and I'm gonna put this on And that nut had little thumb turns on it. Oh, that one had thumb turns, and what they tell you is tighten it as tight as you can with the thumb turn. And I've done that before and made it to where not to leak. But I try to do it as tight with a thumb turn as I can, and then kind of try to grab it with my pliers and do like an eighth turn. See, now I don't have that tight. Now I can look at that and I can decide if I want it. I'm gonna loosen it and twizzle this around a little bit. I like it right about there. And now I'm gonna clamp it down at the bottom with my left hand. Okay. And now I'm gonna reach down there. I'm gonna tighten that up. I gotta get that one tight before I put the bottom one back on, right? Now I can bear down on it with my other hand. I can take both my hands, my thumb on one and my 2 fingers on the other, and tighten that sucker. And the last thing you want to do is tighten that nut so tight that you crack it, or you make it oblong and it misses a thread, skips a thread. And you know, it's probably plenty tight. It's probably plenty tight. I got it on there pretty good. Do I even need to do this? I might not. Well, I'm gonna try it. And it's tricky because I got the thumb turn in my way. Oh. I don't even have it. Wow. Yeah, I'm having a hard time even turning it with the pliers. Okay, I'm gonna get it one more little bit with my thumbs. Okay, that's it. I'm not even gonna tighten it with the pliers. That's plenty tight. Okay. All right. It's coming out. It's coming out at the right angle. Okay. So far, so good. Get you down there. Have you take a quick look. See how this arm is kind of coming out. I say at a 45. It's probably a little less than a 45-degree angle. See? Nothing's in the way. Here's my adjustment after I put the water on and stuff. It's adjusted right for it to be adjusted right. I'm not going to do any of the other steps now until I do the next thing. What is the next thing? Well, if you were watching before, you know what the next thing is. It's going to be, I've got to put this back on. See, it's still dripping in the bucket. See all that water? I don't really care, do I? It was better for me to do that than just really jerk down on this handle to get that thing to be stopped and then snap that off. Trust me, I've seen it happen before. It's not a pretty sight, because then you'd have to shut the water off, you'd have to take that valve off, you'd have to replace it, install a new valve, and then hope that your new valve doesn't leak and all that. Okay? That's the last thing we want to happen on this 24 years old. If yours is 40 years old, 50 years old, it could easily snap off. Okay? And it's going to be installed with a different valve and all that kind of stuff. Okay? So far, so good. This is nice and snug. It's uptight. It's not coming out at an angle. I've seen somebody install one of these at an angle. The rubber gasket wasn't pushed up all the way and kind of got cattywampus, and this thing was pushing off to the side so that when the float was raising up, the float on the back side was hitting the side. It wasn't allowing the float to go all the way up. So I had to loosen everything up, swivel that over, tighten it back up, and the owner was happy to pay me. But hey, you don't have to do any of that stuff because you're watching these videos and you're gonna do it yourself to save big. Okay, so now I'm ready to tighten this back up. I can reposition my bucket. In fact, I don't even need my bucket anymore. Just raise this up, get it on the threads. That's why it's important to have that first nut holding this tight, because when you get ready to tighten this next one, you don't want this thing to start sliding around. Okay, and remember last time, this one had thumb turn too, and last time it was only so tight to where I could get it off with my thumb, remember? I didn't even have to use my pliers. And so I'm gonna get it on there as tight as I can. There, I can tell I'm pretty much there. And you know, I don't really think I want to tighten it anymore. I think I pretty much tightened it. If you do tighten it, I really don't want to. The thumb turn is on the wrong little place for it, and I just don't think I'm going to, because you've got the gasket in there and stuff. It should be fine. You know, after I turn the water back on, then I can look at that 5 minutes later, 15 minutes later, see if it's dripping. If it's slightly dripping, just ever so drip, you know, it's wet and it's running down, dripping, then I can take my pliers, right? I take my pliers on there, finagle them on there in such a manner to where I can get it on around those thumb grips, and give it one little, and that's it. But I think for now I'm going to decide against that. Okay, so we're halfway through the project. In fact, we're more than halfway through the project, and hopefully I've shown you enough to give you the confidence that you think you can do it yourself, because hey, I'm just an average Joe. That's what my videos are about. An average Joe showing and teaching a DIY beginner how to do things. That's what all of my videos on my channel are. I've got over 4,000 videos, 4,200 and some odd. You can go to my YouTube main channel page, click on playlists, and then scroll down to your heart's content. I've got about 50 different DIY topics and different things on there that might interest you for saving money around the house. And if you see something on my channel, rest assured, if I post it, I think you can do it. Okay, is it time to turn the water on yet? I'm going to decide no. I'm going to decide not to turn the water on yet. I'm going to get my little cutters, my little electrical cutters. Okay, I'm getting ready. And before I do that, I've got my toilet seat down. You can do this with your toilet seat up with if you want, but for my purposes, I'm going to put that on there. I'm going to put this on there. And if you have a plastic seat, just be real careful with that and try not to lean on it too much. In fact, I think I'm going to put this down for my knees. Just don't lean on this too much and crack your plastic toilet seat. Okay, last thing you want to do when you're trying to fix your toilet. Now you've broken something else. All right. Okay, so I am going to take this thing here. Remember, I'm just gonna spread it with my thumb and my finger, and I'm gonna put it on here. I might be in your way, but I gotta get it. I gotta get it pressed on there somehow. Okay. See, I put it on. I put it on the wrong direction. If it was right there, this water's shooting in the tank, not down in there. Then it can splash all around. It's really designed to be put on facing the opposite direction, like that. Okay, like that. So now, you see, when this pipe is on there, hooked up, this pipe is actually sitting above the drain, right? And that water is shooting straight down this pipe. That pipe's not actually hooked up to the drain or anything. It just goes down on the outside of where your flapper is, and it keeps your water from spraying all around and stuff, and from moving this all around. and it just fills from the bottom up, okay? And so now this gets hooked onto the side over there, and I don't know if you saw that. It's just that little nib. See, it's just that little nib right there coming out from the side. So now I got to put that on there, and I do that next. And what I usually do is I'll spit in here, or you can take a little spit and put in there, just to get it slightly moist, so that when I put it on there, it's gonna go nicely over there. So I'm gonna hold on the back side of that, and I want to get it all the way on there. When you think you got it all the way on there, try to push it on some more. Okay, there. Now, can you see where that one is? If I were to hook that on, this is sticking way up high. Okay, so I'm gonna take a guess, and if anything, maybe I should cut it just a hair long, that I think, and then I can always cut it shorter. If I cut it too short, I can never cut it longer, can I? Okay. Now I can kind of hold this where I think it needs to go. Make sure it's lower than there, and it's fine. Okay. Now I can press that on there like that, or I can get it wet. I'm gonna put just a little spit in there. It just seems like it makes it easier. And now, if you're having a hard time, you can pull this back off if you want, right? And because I'm having to hang on to that and push it at the same time, but you'll figure it. And if you can't do it that way, pull that off, and then you can do it and put it on. Okay, there. That's how that works. Whoop, like that. I could have cut it shorter so it didn't go up and down as much, but I think that's going to be fine. Now, am I ready to turn the water on? Think about it. What's your answer with everything I've told you so far? Bum, ba-bum, bum, 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 bum. Okay, what's your answer? Is it time to turn the water on? If you said yes, no, it's not. I'm not going to turn the water on yet. If you said no, Joe, Video Joe, don't turn the water on yet. We know what you need to do. Give yourself a gold star because you are correct. Because here's what I want to explain to you. If you missed it before, if I turn the water back on, I could possibly loosen up any little sediment and stuff that has built up over the many years that this plumbing has been installed in this house. This house is probably 24 years old. And so anything that's caught inside the lines, when I turn the water back on, it might loosen up any little sediment. If I do loosen up any sediment, where do you suppose it's going to go? Where's that sediment going to go? It's going to come up the bottom of this fill tank, right? This fill valve, and it's going to get caught in the top where that little gasket was. You remember that gasket? It's a little rubber gasket. This is the one, see? Little, and this is rubber. And this was if we would have replaced that on the existing one. I decided not to do that. Okay, it has that gasket in there, but it's just a small little pinhole. And if you get anything caught up in there, then it could cause that little pin thing to not release properly when the fill valve says, okay, stop, the toilet's filled up high enough, leave it alone. Boom, leave it alone. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to do that, but I'm going to, for the sake of demonstration first, so that you can see everything properly, I'm going to take the old one, the one that I disconnected, and show you how to pop that top off. I've never done it on this one, and it should pop off just like I'm going to do that one. So I'm going to get myself situate it here, be right back. Okay, so I'm going to show you here. Let's see if I can't do this on this one. I've never tried this on this one before. We're going to take this top off, mimic kind of like what you're going to have to do in the bathroom if this was in the tank, okay? So we're going to have to turn this counterclockwise, which means I'm going to have to take this and turn it to the left, right? Okay, before I do that, this has to be up. So I've got to lift that up with my hand, and it says to just grab this and turn to the left until it clicks. And I used to think that I had to push down on here, and the new direction says just turn to the left. I'm going to hang on to this and see. Yeah, okay. See, I'm just turning to the left, just to there. Not much. And now I'm going to pull this off. Look at that. I got to remember, I want to put it on the very same way. Okay? And that's how you take that off. And here's the little rubber gasket right here. And there's nothing in it. I see you could have some stuff clogged in there, you could have something clogged in there. This might be this is over 20 years old. You could take the new one and put down in there, and let's say we just did that, we put it in, and we're going to take this, that thing came off the little hooky. Okay. We're going to, I'm not sure if I put that on right. Which direction I had it. See, it kind of matters, right? It kind of matters how you put that back on, apparently. Okay, and I got to have that up all the way, and I have to have that pushed down where it needs to be, and then turn it back to the right, and see, if I'm having this much of a time doing it here, can you imagine how you do it in your toilet? Now I got it, and now it's got to snap. It's got to snap into place. So it's kind of tricky to do it. And when it's on the toilet, it might be easier. Now I'm trying to do it with see, I'm having a hard time because my hands are slippery. Okay, but that's the idea. Good thing we're not reinstalling this one, right? Yeah, I would have to put my gloves back on, but you get the idea. You get the idea? That's got to be pushed up, and you got to hold your mouth just right, get it right back, and you'll see about where it is before you take yours off all the way. See, because this isn't in the toilet, I'm having to rethink exactly where that was. I think it was coming out like that, and that was there, and I think it was right there, and then this is supposed to click. It's supposed to click back on. Mercy me. Yeah. Boy, I'm having a hard time. I'm having a hard time doing it. Isn't that something? You know, maybe that's probably wasn't fitting in that. Let's see, when I pulled it off, that didn't come up with it, did it? Okay. And so now it was about in there somewhere. Yeah, there, see, it went right on. That's because the gasket, I should have put the needle up in there, because when I took it off, it was just down in there. Do you see what I mean? So you lift that up, turn to the left. Let's see here. I'll get you right behind the camera here. Okay. Okay, it's on there. Lift it up on that so that that's up. Turn it to the left, just to there, and pull that off. Okay. And see, the gasket's supposed to stay on there. On this particular one, it came off, but just because it was loose. But to put it back on, you just slip it on there, so it's on there, and then right there, and now it just pushes right on, see? With that up, I got it on. Okay, so that's what I have to do next on that new one. Really? Yes, I'm gonna do that, because if there's any sediment that gets in there when I turn the water back on, I'm gonna flush it out, and I'm gonna show you that next. By the time you get done with this, you are going to be an expert. See, once I pop that off, then I'm going to reach down there and turn the water on, okay? Now I'm going to put this cup just over that so the water doesn't shoot up and hit the ceiling, or I put my hand on it. I could put my hand on it too, right? All that would be doing is making sure that if there is anything in the system that gets loosened up, I'm going to flush it out of the system before I hook this back together, so it does not get caught inside the brand new little rubber gasket and above the rubber gasket, because I've seen it happen many times. I've gone on many service calls where all I had to do was clean out the top of this, okay? And so we're ready to do that now, right? Okay, so I'm gonna move my bucket here, and this is for a brand new install. This is also for if you were fixing an old one. You're going to shut the water off, and you're going to take everything apart, and now you've put it all, and then once you put it back together, you're going to flush it, turn it off. Basically, you're doing the same thing as we're doing right now, okay? That's pretty much what I wanted to say. And I try to explain everything because you're not really going to see everything right here. And it's trickier because I thought I was going to be able to do this on my knees, but I think I have to just stoop down. It's trickier because I've got the toilet handle here. I've got this here. I've got to carefully do this. Okay, so I'm going to raise that up. I don't have to put my hand down there. I can just raise it up right here, right? And then I have to turn this. I have to turn this to the left. Okay, so I raise that up, and I don't have the water on yet, and now I'm just going to turn that. Okay, like that. And I'm going to remember about where that is. Okay, and I'm pretty sure. I say I'm pretty sure I turned it enough. Maybe I have to turn it one more little bit at the top. There. Okay. Now, come on. I think I still have to keep this up to then get the cap off. And should I have done this before I put that on? Maybe, but. Hey, I should have gotten it. Maybe I have to turn it one more little bit. This thing should come off now. Oh, good grief. I'm way over here. What's happening here? Okay, maybe I didn't have it lifted up high enough. It was hitting the pipe. Now this should pop right off. Isn't that funny? Maybe it has to go just a hair further. It has to go that far? Come on. There. Good grief. I got part of it. But I see I'm going to have to loosen this up. Because see, it needs to be turned just almost all the way to where it's up against the back of the toilet to then get this off. Good grief. They don't make things too easy, do they? Come on. It wants to come off. That's something. Did I get it? Did I get it too far? That is so funky. I turned it, and now this thing should pop off. And see, even I'm having an issue with it. I know it wants to come off. Come on. Good grief. And that's something. That's that cap. Oh, would you look at that? This one doesn't appear. Isn't that something? Make a liar out of me. I think I'm going to have to read the directions. I don't see that rubber gasket in here. Maybe the brand new ones don't have it. Maybe the brand new ones don't have it. I'm going to have to read the directions. Maybe you just go that far, take the cap off, and then the water's going to squirt up anyways without that gasket in there. Isn't that something? Because it doesn't look like, it looks like this is all one piece. I'm going to leave everything just like that and read the directions and see. This is a new style, slightly different apparently than the old one. So I hope you've been watching.